diving right into that, what do see as some of the main characteristics of the current crypto ecosystem for e-commerce and merchant payments? Where is there room for improvement?
The crypto is, digitally native, global asset. And so if you think about e-commerce and merchants, those are digitally native and increasingly digital ways that we use payments, particularly coming out of the pandemic where there's this huge shift to e-commerce, like globally, just growing and growing space. And so opportunities for improvement there are leveraging this, truly digitally native asset class of cryptocurrencies. And so that's both for end users and consumers that have crypto that want to start buying goods and services with it, but then also the efficiencies that you get in operating these businesses. So that is kind of the underlying payment infrastructure and Rails. Crypto has that same kind of capability to simplify, streamline, and bring this technological, paradigm shift to those operations as well. So it's really a twofold opportunity to improve e-commerce and merchant payments.
Awesome. Then, maybe building a little bit on that last point, about the e-commerce players and the merchants, how do crypto payments help meet their top needs?
So you can think about kind of this whole new kind of customer segment that's emerging. So these are the digitally native, tech savvy, people who grew up using the internet, grew up using digital, the PayPals and payment services of the world. Those same consumers now hold crypto and they want to use that for payments. And so to be a player in the space and to tap into these new markets, you want to be able to accept those assets as part of your merchant or payment flows. So you have luxury brands like Gucci that are starting to do that. It's a way that you can differentiate and show you're kind of leaning into innovation as a brand like that and retain these audience. And really, it's kind of being where the customers are and where the consumers are going to be in terms of, research shows that holders of crypto, they want to use it to be able to buy goods and services in the same way that they use other assets they hold. So really having a kind of reliable, secure way to do that for them is really the way to be.
Awesome. And then, when you think of the ideal crypto payment experience, what are some of the characteristics needed, to support this?
Part of why crypto is very appealing is this infrastructure layer, is that it's always on, globally available, 24/7, 365. And so that's just kind of a big shift from the way that kind of legacy financial systems and Rails work. At the same time, the technology layer still needs a layer of liquidity to be able to tap into that. So you need those counterparties that are willing to exchange. If you have Bitcoin, somebody needs euros. You need somebody that does that exchange and people that are being there for you. And so that's where like products like Liquidity Hub that my team builds at Ripple come in. So the technology is there, maybe the kind of seamlessness of integrating with exchanges, managing smart routing and treasury isn't there. And so if you're an enterprise that doesn't want to go solve those largely undifferentiated challenges, you just really want to go solve your business and have crypto be a part of it, being able to tap into these types of products lets you kind of give that globally available 24/7, 365, but maybe not have to deal with some of the kind of growing pains of crypto as a payment system.
Totally. And then, when we're talking about, crypto payments, so what's the ideal time or, moment to make that purchase using this asset? And, how is it different from maybe traditional or also other, innovative payment vehicles? And also, where is it the same?
Yeah, so like any new technology, it starts coming from similar things that exist. So the same types of ways that you think about payment rails, the same different flows of which you have a normal payment, they map into crypto as well. But I think the places where they start to differentiate is, traditional payments, particularly global cross-border ones, very slow, expensive. You've got long settlement times, multiple days, even months. You've got lots of intermediaries to kind of de-risk those settlement challenges and counterparty risks. And that becomes fees, it becomes friction, it becomes kind of inefficiencies. And so, the way I think about, crypto here is crypto is almost this magical public shared infrastructure that lets you get rid of a lot of that. And so now is certainly the time to start thinking about this, depending on how your business operates and maybe just learning, but maybe actually trying to adopt these technologies. But the benefit here is, as you start to remove those intermediaries, you get more efficiencies, you get cost savings, you can get both a better customer experience, but then lower costs that you can pass on to your customers. I think there's some studies that show up to 70% reduction in cost by going from, not traditional rails to crypto rails. Has to play out, has to see how that develops at scale, but certainly now is the time where, certainly our customers are starting to use this technology in that manner. So it's certainly the time to start exploring it.
And maybe, building a little bit on that idea of, removing these intermediaries, what are some of the benefits that crypto payments offer e-commerce players and merchants around, areas like compliance, fraud prevention, transparency, and then, on the more, I guess those are all positive, but on the more positive side, kind of, how can e-commerce and merchants tap crypto payments for customer insights?
Yeah, so again, this kind of harkens back to the first question we were talking about. It's kind of truly digitally native. So if you think about compliance, fraud prevention, transparency, and insights, those are all start from having rich data that's governed, that is of high quality, that you can use to go make insights about your customers, but also make sure you're complying, finding patterns of fraud, and machine learning, and all the different aspects. And so if we think about crypto starting from that point, from being particularly decentralized, trustless, immutable, it kind of by default has this great governed audit trail inside of it. And the area where the industry is figuring it out is how do you respect privacy? How do you manage that in a way where different users have different needs? But I'd say at least foundationally, the technology starts from a place that enables these important aspects of running a business.
Totally. And looking ahead, what are you most excited about? And what does the marketplace need to be educated about for that to happen?
Yeah, so at Ripple, the thing that brought me here 7 years ago, and I've stayed at the company, is this Internet of Value vision. So the idea that you can move value of any type seamlessly around the world and very cheaply, in the same way you can send an email to anyone in the world and not really having a second thought about how much it costs or how long it's going to take to arrive. And what we've seen kind of already is the adoption, and we definitely have crypto assets in the manner that we've been talking about, and ways that people are trying to use them. But there's increasingly tokenized assets, so that's using the same core technology, but bringing other assets that are not native to a blockchain and representing them there. That's a thing like a stable coin already being adopted in a variety of payments use cases. But then you can think to other tokenized assets like real estate, gaming tokens. And one way to use those things well and kind of enable the internet value is interoperability between these assets. So at Ripple, this is why we have a product like Liquidity Hub, where you need a way to be able to exchange an asset from one type to another. When you have that interoperability layer, value can start moving, flowing freely. And so the same way that you saw this Cambrian explosion of the internet, enabling new types of business, new types of capabilities, we'll see the same thing here. Education is certainly key as part of that. I'd say, same way that you had to educate yourself on the internet, IP protocol, HTML, and all these things, there's a similar education that will happen here, to the point where nobody asks if you're an internet company anymore. Everyone is an internet company. I see a similar thing happening within finance, probably outside too, where are you a blockchain company? No, it's like that'll be part of your strategy. So certainly learning these technologies, learning how they work together is a key part of the adoption. But I think that's the exciting thing here. When you have this technology that's shown the promise, and now you've kind of taken the kind of rough edges of the first version, where now we're building products like Liquidity Hub, where enterprises can lean in and adopt this. I'm excited to see how different companies and industries and spaces really, use it to make a mark and improve the experience for their customers.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a great note to end on. Thanks so much for your time today, Brad. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Likewise. Thank you.